So I just got back from seeing Stephen King's The Dark Tower. So let's go ahead and jump into that right now. Now the movie is based off of a series of books, quite lengthy books that I did not read. In fact, I've not read any Stephen King books all the way through. I'm in the middle of one right now. So once that's finished, I'll be able to speak a little bit more to what he does as a writer and story builder and everything else. But I went into this movie just expecting like this weird science fiction action film. And that is not entirely what I got. So the film itself is like a horror meets science fiction meets Western, dystopian, modern. There's a lot of different elements in play for this film. So you're going to want to just kind of like take it all in and just enjoy what they've built out so far in this first movie. Now, I will say I didn't quite get the story, but then again, I didn't read the books. So I'm not quite sure all of the plot points that aren't filled out, what I missed because I haven't read it. So the story starts off and it's pretty standard. It's, you know, bad guy destroys things, good guy comes around, and now we've got to get like folks together to save the world, right? Pretty standard stuff as far as a hero action tale is concerned. So no complaints there. However, there's a weird demon in the house at one point, and it's made of wood, but they don't really explain like what it is there for, but then later it's like to protect, but then you don't quite understand what it's protecting from because there are folks who are supposed to be monitoring and controlling everything. So that was like one thing. And then there was another scene where they have like these weird rat mice people, but they don't really explain where they came from, like what world, like why they decided to help the man in black, who basically is like a satanic sorcerer of sorts. So there's a lot of like weird things. The movie starts off with like you see kids like being put into chairs, and then like electricity's like sucking energy out of their brains, and you're like, what is going on? And then you see like faces falling off of people, and you're like, what is this movie? And then all of a sudden like it snaps to, and you see like this kid is just having these dreams or premonitions, if you will, of this world that exists that he doesn't know about yet. So you find out that like kids eventually you find out that kids have psychic abilities, and they need those psychic abilities to channel their energy into a machine that can destroy a dark tower, and the dark tower controls all of existence. But according to the story, the man in black has already gone through and destroyed worlds without having destroyed the dark tower. So there's like little plot points and beats where I was just like, I don't get it. What is happening? The movie also seems to revolve around Idris Elba's character, but I'm not quite sure why. Because it's, in my opinion, it should have been the kid who was kind of like driving the story. We see the kid go through these tremendously stressful situations because everyone thinks he's crazy because he doesn't realize he's a psychic. The kid is in a broken home. The stepdad doesn't want him. Eventually he comes home to find the stepdad's dead and his mom has literally been burned into the ground. These are some very intense, traumatic moments in this movie for a kid who's maybe 13-ish, 14-ish. So you have all of this pressure on this kid, but then it's like he's only there to serve the narrative that drives Idris Elba's character to fight the man in black. So why are we investing so much time in like caring about this kid when we should be caring about the story of Idris Elba if he's the one who's going to be stopping the man in black and understanding why they have a feud to begin with? What is the role of the gunslinger and why is he the only one left? I get that there's been wars, but give me more. Show me why the man in black is so terrifying, as opposed to just a version of the Lincoln Town Car commercials that Matthew McConaughey plays, but kind of more sociopathic. Like, there was a lot of weird stuff in this movie that just didn't hit home. But if you're gonna see it, go ahead and check it out on like a Redbox or a video on demand service when it's available for streaming. I walked out of the movie and I was like, I don't quite understand exactly what I just saw, but some of it was fun. There's a lot of good like action sequences throughout. We don't really understand why the mantra for the gunslinger is what it is. We just know that he has one and it helps him focus, almost like meditation. But we don't understand the reasons behind the sayings in the mantra. Also, the ending scene, that action scene is bad. I mean, this is bad CGI everything. Matthew McConaughey is doing like this weird, like he almost looks like a mime without makeup. And it's just like, if he was on New York street corners like performing, I don't think very many people would be dropping this guy $dollars in his bucket. So I just gotta say, like the ending, that last scene was, I was just like, nope. And then all of a sudden the kid comes to, like, and it was just, there's a lot of weird stuff in this film that just didn't hit home. So I can't give this film any high fives. I'm pulling them all back from you guys. Sorry. I walked out of the theater and my first thought was, well, at least they tried.